Welcome to Dating Tips 101. Today, we're diving into one of the most timeless questions in romance. How do you know if someone is truly the one? Imagine this. You've been with someone who makes you laugh, who shares your dreams, and who knows you better than anyone else. Or maybe it's someone new, someone who just walked into your life and made you feel something intense. But in quiet moments, you find yourself wondering, is this it? Is this person my one and only? Well, in today's episode, we're going to set aside the fairy tale images and look at what truly makes a relationship last. Finding the one goes deeper than just chemistry or attraction. It's about compatibility, shared values, and above all, self-awareness. So as we go through today's reflections, let's remember that sometimes discovering the one means discovering ourselves first. To begin, let's tackle some of the myths we often hear about finding the one. We've all seen those romantic comedies where a couple locks eyes across a crowded room and suddenly it's love at first sight. Or the stories that tell us there's one single person out there who will complete us in every way. These myths make love look like something magical and effortless. And while love can indeed be magical, it's rarely effortless. So let's look at a few of the most common myths and explore why they might be misleading and maybe even harmful. Let's start with the idea of love at first sight. Now, there's no denying that first impressions can be powerful, but is instant attraction a real indicator of lasting love? Let me share the story of Sarah. Sarah believed deeply in love at first sight. One evening, she met Mark at a friend's party. They locked eyes, and she felt an overwhelming connection. They spent the entire night talking, laughing, and sharing dreams. Sarah was convinced that this intense spark meant he was the one. But as the weeks went by, things started to change. Mark and Sarah had different values, different approaches to life, and different goals for the future. The connection they felt that night was real, but it wasn't a sign of true compatibility. Over time, Sarah learned that while initial chemistry is exciting, it's not a guarantee of lasting love. Real love is built on more than just attraction. It's a foundation of shared values, understanding, and support. Another myth is the idea that the one will complete us, filling in every gap we have and making us feel whole. It's a comforting thought, isn't it? The belief that someone else can make us feel complete. But this myth often leads to unrealistic expectations. Take Tom's story, for example. Tom was looking for someone to fix his loneliness and insecurities. He met Lisa, who was warm, confident, and caring. For a while, it seemed like Lisa was everything he needed. But as their relationship grew, Tom started to rely on Lisa to make him feel secure and happy. This created tension because Lisa felt pressured to constantly reassure him. Tom eventually realized that no one could complete him. He needed to work on his own self-worth and happiness. When he shifted his focus to self-growth, his relationship with Lisa improved, and he saw her as a partner, not a solution. The third myth is that finding the one means you'll never argue or face conflict. This myth can be especially harmful because it makes people believe that any disagreement signals a lack of true love. Let's talk about Nina and Alex. They were together for years and had a strong, loving relationship. But like any couple, they had their differences. One day, after a particularly heated argument, Nina began to doubt if Alex was really the one. She thought that if he were, they'd be perfectly in sync. After seeking advice, Nina realized that disagreements are a normal part of any relationship. What matters is how we handle conflict, whether we approach it with respect, listen to each other, and work toward a solution. Instead of doubting their love, Nina learned to see these moments as opportunities for growth. So, as we go through today's reflections, let's remember that finding the one doesn't mean avoiding conflict. It means finding someone willing to face challenges with us. These myths show us that love isn't about magical perfection. It's about real connection, growth, and understanding. The truth is, the one might not be who we imagine, and love might not look the way we expect, but that's what makes it beautiful and worth the journey. Now that we've looked at some common myths, let's explore what real compatibility looks like. These signs may not be as glamorous as a fairy tale love story, but they're the foundation of a healthy, lasting relationship. So what should we look for when we're trying to find the one? Let's break it down into a few essential signs of compatibility. The first sign of real compatibility is shared core values. Values shape how we live our lives, make decisions, and interact with the world. When two people have similar values, it creates a strong foundation for a relationship. Think about Emma and David. They both value family, kindness, and giving back to the community. These shared values helped them align their goals and build a life together that felt meaningful to both of them. While they didn't agree on everything, their shared values allowed them to navigate challenges with a sense of purpose. This is why shared values are crucial. They're the compass that guides a relationship through the ups and downs. Another key sign of compatibility is feeling emotionally safe with someone. This means you can be yourself, share your thoughts without fear of judgment, and know that your partner supports you. Let's look at the story of Ben and Sophie. Ben had always struggled with opening up, but with Sophie, he felt safe. She listened without judgment, respected his boundaries, and supported him. Over time, Ben realized that this sense of safety was a sign of real love and trust. Emotional safety is essential because it allows vulnerability, and vulnerability in turn deepens connection and strengthens the bond between two people. Last but not least, the one is someone who encourages our growth. They inspire us to become the best version of ourselves, and we do the same for them. A beautiful example of this is Mia and Carlos. Mia wanted to go back to school to pursue her dreams, but she was afraid it would create distance between them. Carlos, however, supported her wholeheartedly, cheering her on and celebrating her accomplishments. And when Carlos faced a career challenge, Mia was there to encourage him. Through their mutual support, they both grew individually and as a couple. This is a powerful sign of compatibility, when two people help each other grow instead of holding each other back. Shared values, emotional safety, and mutual support. These are the signs of real compatibility. When these are present, love becomes more than just a feeling. It becomes a choice and a commitment to grow together. We've looked at myths, and we've looked at real signs of compatibility. But before we decide if someone is the one, there's an important step that's often overlooked: understanding ourselves. Finding the right partner isn't just about meeting someone who ticks all the boxes. It's about knowing who we are, what we need, and what we bring into a relationship. Personal reflection and self-awareness give us a clear picture of what we want in a partner and help us recognize the qualities that truly matter to us. Imagine this. You're standing in front of a mirror, but instead of looking at your appearance, you're looking at your inner self. Who are you? What do you value most? What are your strengths and what are your challenges? These are questions that guide us in finding a partner who aligns with our deepest self. Let's take a closer look at a story about self-discovery. Julia had been in a few relationships that felt promising in the beginning, but eventually left her feeling unfulfilled. Each time she hoped that this person would be the one, only to find herself disappointed when things didn't work out. One day, after a difficult breakup, Julia decided to try something different. She took a step back from dating and focused on understanding herself. She started journaling, attending workshops, and learning more about what she wanted from life. Through this journey, Julia discovered that she valued honesty, kindness, and a sense of adventure. Armed with this newfound clarity, Julia felt more grounded. When she eventually met someone new, she was able to communicate openly about her values, needs, and goals. And because she was clear about who she was, she recognized that her new partner shared these values. The relationship felt different, more balanced, and more fulfilling. This process of self-reflection taught Julia that knowing herself was key to finding a compatible partner. It wasn't about finding someone to fill a void. It was about sharing her life with someone who truly understood and respected her. Julia's story shows us the power of self-awareness. Taking the time to reflect on who we are and what we need is a step many people overlook in the search for love. So here's a small exercise for you. Take a few minutes to think about the following questions. You might want to write down your answers or simply let them sink in. 1. What are the values that matter most to you? 2. What are the qualities you admire in a partner? 3. How do you want to feel in a relationship? 4. Are there any patterns in past relationships that you want to change? These questions aren't meant to be answered quickly. They're meant to guide you on a journey of self-discovery. The more we understand ourselves, the better prepared we are to recognize someone who aligns with our values and vision for life. Even when we find someone who feels like a perfect match, it's normal to experience doubts and face challenges. No relationship is without its ups and downs, but what matters most is how we handle these moments of uncertainty and overcome obstacles together. Often we view doubts as negative signs, but doubts can be opportunities to learn more about each other and strengthen our bond. Let's dive into a story that illustrates how a couple navigated their doubts and built resilience. Liam and Rachel had been dating for a couple of years. They cared deeply for each other, but as time went on, they began to encounter challenges that made them question their relationship. Liam had always dreamed of moving abroad for work, while Rachel wanted to stay close to her family. They found themselves at a crossroads, each uncertain about whether they could reconcile their dreams. At first, both of them felt frustrated. They wondered if their differences meant they weren't truly compatible. But instead of letting the doubts drive them apart, they decided to approach them with open hearts and minds. They sat down, talked honestly about their fears, their dreams, and their expectations for the future. Through these conversations, Liam and Rachel realized that while they had different visions, they shared a strong desire to support each other's happiness. They discussed ways to compromise and made a plan that would allow Liam to work abroad for a limited time, with Rachel visiting him frequently. This compromise didn't eliminate all their doubts, but it created a solution that honored both of their needs. Liam and Rachel's story reminds us that doubts don't have to mean the end of a relationship. They can be invitations to communicate, understand, and find ways to grow together. When doubts arise in a relationship, remember that they're natural. Here are a few tips to help you and your partner navigate challenging times. 1. Communicate openly. When something bothers you, bring it up respectfully. Clear communication is the key to resolving misunderstandings. 2. Be willing to compromise. Relationships require give and take. Be open to finding solutions that consider both your needs and your partner's. 3. Reflect on your expectations. Sometimes doubts arise because of unrealistic expectations. Reflect on whether your expectations align with your partner's. 4. Practice patience. Building a lasting connection takes time. Be patient with yourself and your partner as you grow together. These tools can help transform moments of doubt into opportunities for deeper connection and trust. As we've seen, the one isn't necessarily the person who makes everything easy. It's the person who's willing to face challenges with you, who's committed to working through doubts, and who values growth both as individuals and as a couple. As we wrap up today's episode of Dating Tips 101, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've explored. Finding the one isn't about magic or perfection. It's about building a connection based on shared values, emotional safety, and a commitment to growth. It's about knowing ourselves deeply, so we can recognize true compatibility when we find it. We started by debunking common myths, those ideas that tell us love should be effortless, the fact that it's all about a perfect match. But real love isn't about fitting into someone else's mold. It's about finding a partner who sees you, values you, and stands beside you through life's changes. Then we discussed real signs of compatibility, shared core values, emotional safety, and mutual support. These qualities form the foundation of a relationship that can weather life's storms. When we look for these signs instead of just relying on chemistry or attraction, we open ourselves to relationships that have real depth and meaning. We also talked about the importance of self-awareness. Knowing ourselves, our values, needs, and boundaries helps us build healthier relationships. Remember Julia's story and the transformation she experienced when she took time to understand herself. This inner journey allowed her to find a partner who genuinely aligned with her values. And finally, we touched on doubts and challenges. Every relationship has its tough moments, but it's how we handle them that counts. Like Liam and Rachel, who learned to communicate and compromise, we can turn doubts into opportunities for growth. To close today's episode, I'd like to invite you to reflect on your own journey in love. Take a few moments, either now or later, to think about these questions. 1. What are the qualities you truly value in a partner? 2. Are there any patterns or expectations you'd like to change in your approach to relationships? 3. How do you feel about the role of self-awareness in love? Are there areas where you can grow to create stronger connections? These reflections aren't meant to give you all the answers, but they can guide you as you navigate the beautiful, sometimes challenging path to love. If you found today's episode meaningful, please consider subscribing to Dating Tips 101 and sharing it with others who might benefit from these insights. Love is a journey, and each one of us has something valuable to share and learn along the way. Until next time, remember that finding the one isn't about searching for someone perfect. It's about finding someone who helps you grow, who brings out your best self, and who walks with you on this journey of life. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to our next time together.